All right, welcome. If you're just jumping over from the WVD meeting with Peter and Stefan, thank you for joining Mark and Mark today at this session about fast app delivery. Now, I won't stay the whole session, but we just had a chat before this while you guys were all still in the WVD session. And it turns out Mark doesn't only know about app delivery, but also about motorcycles. So if you have any questions there, feel free to hit him up in the chat. Meanwhile, I'd like to hand over the microphone to him. And Mark, please show us what you got.
Cool. Thank you, Mark. Wow, guys, I am so happy to be here. And, first off, my warmest wishes to all the folks out there. I hope everybody is safe and healthy. And one word comes to mind as I'm here with you guys today, and that's gratitude. And I'd like to extend my gratitude to all the speakers and all the listeners, because I'm sure a lot of you have helped me through my career at one time or another with your blogs and your presentations. So thank you so much. All right, so today I'm Mark Knouse. I am Senior Director of Alliances at Liquidware. And we're going to talk about fast app delivery in times of crisis. Now, we all know applications can be probably the most difficult part of end user computing. And oftentimes there's a mismatch between what we know and what we do. We often spend a lot of time focusing on operating system management and tuning and delivery and securing. And then the applications, well, that's most time left to maybe an application owner. But they are the most crucial pieces of delivery within an enterprise. Why? Because users consume applications to generate revenue. So we're here to talk about how fast can we get those applications deployed. I have a few slides, and then we have a demo. And I think the demo is going to be kind of fun, a little different. We're going to use Amazon's AppStream 2.0 product. I don't know if many of you folks have seen it, but it's pretty cool. The demo would be delivered all from the cloud using Amazon's native tools, their storage, which S3 or FSX, or a file server within AWS. So with that, I'll move on to the next slide. So we all know organizations right now in this time, they're doing what they know the best, building laptops, having companies like Dell and Lenovo do drop ships based on the images that they already have. We're connecting via VPN in conjunction with drop shipping laptops, the traditional end user computing. One that I've done for years is enable remote control of corporate PCs within inside the walls. I've even seen tools that perform wake on LAN if the PCs were asleep, so folks can remote into them. Mainly relying on web-based products like Office 365 and the G Suite back to our deskless workers that we became familiar with. And a big one, actually, Mark and I were just talking about, and that's that shadow IT where you really need to work on a file, but you want to work on it on your Mac or your nice big screen you have at home. So you just email it to yourself. And wow, once that data is gone, it is really gone. And then, folks with their tried and true VDI and desktop deployments, they're just scaling that. So what do we do at Liquidware to enable that, all those things? Well, Liquidware has 3 products: user environment management with our product called Profile Unity, application layering with our product called FlexApp, and lastly, monitoring diagnostics with Stratosphere UX. Now, many of you are probably familiar with Stratosphere UX. It's been around a long time. A lot like VSI, we came out in a niche area to do assessments, because as you guys remember, we never really knew what the physical desktop did. Why would we care? So we brought out these tools like Stratosphere UX, and Login VSI had their tool as well to determine the actual usage patterns of our end users. So those are our 3 products. Today I will be demoing the application layering product, FlexApp. So we've been getting a lot of calls. Well, how do we speed up these transitions? Because I don't really have time for a full migration, guys, right? We're hearing that a lot. So we're working with customers to do accelerated POCs and POVs rather. And we do that with a very quick analysis of a current image that they might have. And we're giving them very easy to read reports from our data mining within our product called Stratosphere UX. In parallel to that, we're using our product profile Unity to gather and harvest user settings and data to ensure that we can migrate it. And lastly, in parallel to all that, we're focusing on key line of business applications, and we're packaging them in our FlexApp packager for delivery. So a little bit about FlexApp. So we always say this, will FlexApp work here? Will it work there? And we say, well, it works on Windows. It could even work on your physical PC. So a lot of folks don't know, though, that you can spread this across to Windows 10 multi-session, a server without RDS installed, even the former Windows 7, Server 2016 to Server 2019. And we really complement the existing delivery of application via SCCM, MSIX, AppV, things like that. And I'm sure you heard earlier about the up and coming MSIX app attach. So we complement, we're accoutrements, and we deliver application in a certain way that enables a myriad of different applications versus some of the other solutions may not. We really like the ability to quickly install, update, and remove apps in a WVD environment. We're seeing a lot of excitement about the ephemeral virtual desktop host pool. And with that, you have a single image, and we just deploy the apps to that. Okay. So what do we do in times of crisis situation? We have to get a lot of apps up. And that's when I'm going to move to the demo. So we can, as I said before, we could deploy Flex apps to all the solutions out there as long as they are running Windows. Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, formerly known as XenApp, WVD, traditional RDS, VMware Horizon RDS, and Amazon Workspaces and AppStream 2.0. And we even work with any other solution like the folks at CloudJumper, Nerdio, and even WorkSpot. If they're deploying Windows, we could assist them. So now I'm going to jump into the fun stuff, and that would be a demo. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about AppStream 2.0. It's a fully cloud-based solution in AWS, and it allows you to stream applications to your endpoints. Now, there is a full client for Windows, and also you could use a web browser. The concept is we have stacks, fleets, and images. Now, lately we've been getting a lot of questions. How do we get up and running with AppStream fast? And we say that's very simple. Use our two-stack model. One stack to package, another stack to consume. And why do we like this two-stack model? Because we have an image that's shared with your AWS account that has everything you need to get up and running and packaging. And we call this our FPC shared image. And in that image, we install our FlexApp packaging console. We also install all the binaries necessary to enable what's called the dynamic application provider. And that's a new feature, a relatively new feature within AppStream that allows solutions like FlexApp to work from a single image within AppStream. And then lastly, we have what we call a production app stack. And that is where the users actually consume this. And we work with our customers to deploy this from CloudFormation. We guide them on which storage solutions to use, whether it's S3 or a file server, and like I said, FSX. A key thing I want to discuss today in our demo is the images. We often guide our customers to use a very lean, low-cost image. And in that image, you would have perhaps your security tools, any other inventory agents you might need, things like that. The picture I'm showing you here on the screen is an image I'm going to use to do the demo. The lower part of the screen, you'll see there's two applications, Windows Explorer and Refresh. With this image, if I were to deploy it to the user, that is all they are going to see. The applications I add into that for user consumption, I will be doing live, and I hope it works. and you'll see them pop up the screen and become available for consumption. Now, this should be very familiar to you because we've grown through this through so many iterations with Terminal Server and the other solutions. So it really pays homage to some of the groundbreaking solutions and ancestry that came before it. So this should be a very familiar user experience. And then lastly, giving a nod to Amazon AppStream is the native application mode that allows you to use your applications seamlessly throughout a multi-monitor scenario, and it feels native just as you're consuming a regular app. So here we are. We have an image. That image only has Windows Explorer and a refresh app. Now, back to our packaging. Let me show you this. Now, this is running from a packaging fleet. And why we like a packaging fleet is you could deploy this to your users via AppStream, via a web browser or the thick client. And now often if you need to engage with a third-party vendor, a consultant, whether that's offshore or onshore, and you really need all your applications packaged, you simply deploy this via AppStream, let them know where the installation binaries are, and they could go and build your packages for you. We like this approach because if anyone is familiar with a packaging environment, well, the packaged product is only as good as the hygiene of the packaging environment. And yes, we have snapshots and rollbacks, but human nature, when it's a manual process, things happen. The good part about Amazon AppStream and our packaging fleet is that this environment is ephemeral. When the packager is done, they end their session, that virtual machine is destroyed, allowing the next packager to come on. Not only that, we could use an on-demand image, meaning we only pay for what we're consuming, and VMs aren't sitting out idle in the cloud. So what I have here is the FlexApp packager, and I'm going to go through a quick package, and we're going to do Notepad++. And I'm going to point it to my FSX storage. And I'm going to name it. So now we're creating and mounting a VHD. And then after that, the installation process is going to kick off. And then you'd run through the normal installer routine. And if this were a complex app, this is where you can do a myriad of things like a custom icon or a script that needs to run. And that finished. Now when I'm done, I'm going to click finish. It's going to uninstall. It's going to save the package. Now the great part about this, like I said, if you have packagers, you could restrict them to a file share. You could restrict them to an S3 bucket. You can control where these packages are being placed. And you could also control the installation binaries to ensure they're secure in your versions. So we're going to save this. So that was a package I just did. I actually added an extra plus there so I know it's mine. And then also we have Kindle, Edge Enterprise. And just for fun, I packaged the Amazon Workspaces client. Let's consume workspaces via AppStream. Kind of fun, huh? So that's packaging, right? So that's our one stack concept. And we take you through this journey of a packager, an IT admin, and an end user. And you just saw the packager's journey. Again, a standalone environment, it's ephemeral. You could lock it down, they could do their packaging. And then through any automation process or notification system, you can put this through a UAT process. An admin can then trigger a job to assign it to a user. Okay, now let's talk about the end user side of things. And I am going to use the AppStream client, and you can see down here, it says start in native application mode. That's a real live demo, so let's see how it goes. So once I log in, I'm presented with options. We have two environments, one in Europe and one in US. I'm going to click the US environment. And now my session is initializing. So while that is logging me in, I want to go back to this image and just remind you guys, remember, Windows Explorer and this refresh icon. That's all I am allowed to see. And while that's loading, I also want to show you our Profile Unity console. I'm going to be using this configuration called Amazon AppStream US. Now within this portal is all of the modules that we can use. Like I said earlier, we also perform user environment management and profile migrations and portability. And you have your choice of anything within here you could use to modify your systems, registry, environment variables, shortcuts, just about anything you could think you can do. Today, though, we're concerned about fast delivery of applications. So as you can see here, there are no applications assigned to this user. And conversely, there are no applications available except Windows Explorer. I also like to do this. I hope you guys, I don't make a mistake here. I want to show you that there are no virtual hard disks attached to this virtual machine. And the reason that is because FlexApp is deployed via a virtual hard disk. As you can see, there's one disk here, and that's the C drive. After I start adding applications, you're going to see this populate with additional virtual hard disks. Okay, let's leave that there. Let's bring back our console. First thing I'm going to add is, let's try Edge. Now, this Microsoft Edge application is coming from an Amazon FSx instance. Okay, so we're going to do that first, and then we're going to deploy some from S3. I'm going to save it, and we're going to deploy. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to refresh this. Now, it typically takes about 10 seconds. And there it is. So just to go back and show you guys, well, what happened to disk management? There it is, Edge Enterprise. Well, that was one, Mark. You said this is fast app deployment. Show me a few more. No problem. What about Visual Studio Code? Let's do that. Let's deploy that one. Excellent. Let's come back here. Let's refresh our system. Give it 10 minutes, or I'm sorry, 10 seconds. And there it is. There's Visual Studio Code. Again, back to disk management. Now we have a second. Well, let's get a little more aggressive. Let's add quite a few. So we're going to add a FlexApp rule. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to add the Amazon Workspaces client and the Notepad++ that I just packaged. And I'm also going to add a cloud app from S3. We're going to add Chrome. We're going to add Firefox as well. And we're going to add mRemote, that classic remote desktop management tool. I'm going to save it and then deploy it. Deployed. Let's come back here. Let's refresh our apps. And here they come. So let's try Chrome.
So a final minute warning, Mark, just to heads up. Also, there's a question from Adam. Is there a limit to the number of apps you can mount?
I haven't broken it yet, and I've done about 50. So we do have our SEs who have done 100. So that's pretty impressive. And you can see the application is launched. And I thank everybody for listening. And that was the experience from the packager to the IT admin to the end user.
All right, Mark, thank you very much for that. It was great to see a very technical demo. Now, what's interesting is that we're actually now jumping to Jack Madden from TechTarget. And Jack is going to do a very non-technical session about HR experience and how that involves user experience. I'm also very curious to see that session, so I'm going to jump over. I hope you do as well. If you do have questions for Mark or the team from Liquidware, I've seen that they have a lot of fun in the virtual expo in the booth, so please join them there. Ask all of your questions, and I'm sure they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Again, Mark, thank you, and see you in the next sessions.